I'm Alex, and I'm here to answer some questions. Okay, so Carter and Barnes asked me, how and when did you become a Aaron Johnson fan? Well, the first movie I saw with Aaron Johnson was Kick-Ass in 2010. I saw it in theaters, and before I actually answer this question, I'm going to tell this really funny story. I went with my friend, and the trailers start playing, and this guy walks in with his kid and his wife, and the kid is probably like 7 years old. I'm like, who brings a 7-year-old to see Kick-Ass? Obviously a guy who desperately wanted to see it. He probably like told his wife like, oh, this is it's a superhero movie. We can bring the kid. Yeah, it's fine. So anyway, we get to the part of the movie where Dave's like, oh, how do I get a hold of you guys? And Mindy's like, oh, you just call up the mayor and he sends a light into the sky. It's in the shape of a giant cock. And I could hear the kid behind me go, Dad, what's a cock? And his dad just like stifled a laugh, and I kind of like looked back, and he was like, it's a male rooster, and his wife was like making angry noises. Like, oh, are you kidding me? We really just bring our kid to see this movie, and it was like honestly one of the funniest things I've ever experienced. That is not when I fell in love with Aaron Johnson. I mean, I love Kick-Ass, obviously, and I loved it when I first saw it, but I don't know, if he just didn't get to me then. But I saw Savages in 2012. And I went to go see it with this guy, and he didn't really like the movie. I came out of it, and I was like, nah, like, I guess, yeah, you're right, it wasn't that good. But then I just kept, like, thinking about it, and I was like, oh, holy shit, I love Savages. I love Savages so much. And then that sort of, like, got me on the path to Aaron, because then I looked him up, I watched all of his movies, and Carter and Barnes also asked, if you could be in a movie for a day, which one would it be? And that's a really hard question, because there are like so many like universes that I would like to experience. I think Percy Jackson would be really cool, because I want to go to Camp Half-Blood. Like, everyone's like, oh, I want to go to Hogwarts, but like, I know that Harry Potter's like a good series, but like, I don't know, Percy Jackson just, it's got me good. It's got me real good. So I think I would want to be in The Lightning Thief, and maybe I would make it with Luke for that one day. It is from Emmy Bumblebee, or Emily, my friend. She asked me several questions. The first one being, who was your first ever crush? The answer to that is this guy named David, who I knew in elementary school, and who I was like so sure that I was going to get married to. I was like 100% set on marrying this guy. We actually dated, because I was like chasing that boy for years. We dated in middle school into early high school. If you could throw any kind of party, what would it be like, and what would it be for? I don't know, like a let's sit down and watch all of the Marvel movies ever because a new one is coming out kind of party. What do you miss most about being a kid? I don't know, freedom from worrying. You don't really realize how bad stuff is when you're a kid. Well, I mean, some kids do, but I mean, I don't think I did. I mean, like, I went through a couple of, like, traumatic events, and, like, I don't think I was the happiest kid or the most well-adjusted child, TBH, but like, I just, like, watched cartoons and, like, played with my friends, and, like, I was convinced that Pokemon were real, and I was gonna go to a Pokemon world and just be a Pokemon master. And I like that, just, like, not having to care or worry about like anything. That was really cool. Asked me what my favorite thing about Aaron Johnson is, and at first I was like, wow, that's gonna be really hard to answer, but then I realized I actually have the answer. But first we're gonna do like a countdown. So like number 3 is how freaking hot he is, because I mean, have you seen him? Holy moly. Gotta take a minute. Number two is how much he loves and just cares about women, like, I mean, we've all seen the interview where he's like, well, put me in a dick. That interview where he's being super sexist, and just like the way that he talks about his wife and his kids and his daughters, it's really, it gets me. But like number 1 up here is definitely how good of an actor he is. I mean, like, you watch Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging, and then you watch Savages, and it's like, is this even the same guy? And like, it's not, it's basically not. And I'm in Apocalypse, aka Chloe, asked, would you rather have Cheetos for fingers for the rest of your life, or have a popcorn kernel stuck in the back of your throat for the rest of your life? I had to look this up. I told you I'm lame. Not Chloe, you're not lame. It's okay. I'm lame. Have you been watching the video? I think I would want Cheeto fingers. I don't want a kernel stuck in the back of my throat. But also, I would eat the Cheeto fingers, and then would I just not have fingers? Nat asked me 2 questions about my characters, and they kind of go together actually, because the answer is kind of the same. So the first one is, what character of yours do you care about the most and why? And the second one is, which one of your characters do you think you've written / fleshed out the best? And I think the answer to both of those questions is Zachary Thompson, also called Zach. He's my baby. I made him in 2009 after I saw Jennifer's Body. Kyle Gallner's character was my inspiration. Kyle Gallner is my muse, is basically what I'm saying. Because when you look at the character, you can totally see, because skinny, pasty, oh boy. But I made him in 2009, so it's been 5 years, and he's just been growing and developing. And he started out very, you know, one-dimensional, like he was shy, but that was about it. You know, he likes horror movies, all of that, but now he's this really deep character with a real personality and emotions and problems. What made you want to be a writer? 9th grade, I read The Outsiders, and that literally changed my life. Like, I was like, I need to do this. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I'm in love with this book. I need to do this. So I started writing this book called, I think it was called The Week Before, and it was like about greasers and stuff, and that's what really got me started. And of course, she asked, is Nat totally awesome? The answer is no. No, Nat, you're not. I hate you, and I hope you feel better soon. Of course, Julia, known as Rusty Blaine by a lot of people, asked me several questions that we are now going to go through, and they're all in caps. I'm not going to read them. I'm not going to yell, but they are all, in fact, in caps. How often do you think about sexing up Sebstan and Aaron? Probably more than I should. Do you think Seb needs scruff or a beard? No, I don't. Did you go to prom? Yes, with this guy named Kyler, who was really nice. He's a super nice guy. We weren't, like, dating. I mean, I was kind of into him, but he obviously didn't want to date, so, like, I didn't care. But, like, it was really fun. I had a lot of fun, and then we got McDonald's, which was nice. Are you secretly a Mountie? Yes, all Canadians are secretly Mounties. Do you ever think of getting married? All the time. I totally want to get married at some point in my life. Would you let me play with makeup on your face if we were roommates? Yes, I would. And that does not just apply to Julia. I would let you play with makeup on my face. I would enjoy that. Would you care more if I yodeled or blasted country music? Definitely the yodeling. I would probably punch you. Do you care if your roommate is braless? Considering I am not wearing a bra right now, no. Would you go running around a city with me even if it's in the summer? I can't guarantee how fast I would run or how long I would be able to run for, but yes, I would. What is a traditional Canadian dinner? I don't know. Poutine? Is that? Let's say poutine. It's very Canadian. Maple syrup. We eat the maple syrup. Just spoonfuls of it. And finally, would you ever go clubbing with me and then get McDonald's at 3 a.m. and stay up watching all of the Marvel? I've never gone clubbing. I don't even really drink. But I mean, I would try it, yeah, with you. Especially if it was followed by McDonald's at 3 a.m. and watching all of the Marvel. So, yes, basically. Bucky asked me a couple of difficult questions. The first one being, if you could combine only 2 out of the 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universes, which of those 2 would it be? I think I'm gonna have to say Spider-Man, because I really want Peter to join the Avengers. I really want that to happen. And considering once I actually had a dream where I was, like, watching the Avengers 2 and Peter Parker was in it, and I was, like, rolling around on the floor so excited, like, oh my god, they finally let Peter join the Avengers. Like, considering that's a dream that I have, I feel like the answer has to be Spider-Man. And then the second question was Bucky's thighs or Bucky's metal arm. And while that man has killer thighs, I think I gotta go with the arm. Asked me another hard question, which I am going to answer, but only kind of technically, because she asked, what are your top 5 movies, either right now or of all time? But, I'm gonna answer what my top 5 movies of right now are, and then also my top 5 movies of all time. Savages, Scott Pilgrim, Kick-Ass, and The Covenant, and then I think I would also add The Winter Soldier to that, or like various Marvel movies. So those are like my favorite movies right now. Like they're the ones that I'm so into right now. You know, I think of all time, like I grew up watching Jurassic Park, Men in Black, The Mummy, and Pirates of the Caribbean. Like those 4 movies. And then I would probably put the original Spider-Man movie in there because, like, that movie changed my life when I was a kid. This is how you pronounce your URL, so I'm really sorry if it's not, but Chevets Radio, I mean, like, we talk all the time, but I don't actually know how to pronounce your friggin' URL, so I'm so sorry. But you asked, what is your favorite food that is maybe unusual or isn't anywhere else but where you live? And supposedly, places that aren't where I live in the Maritimes don't have garlic bread like we do. Not like garlic fingers. It's like garlic cheese fingers. It's kind of like a pizza, but instead of a pizza, it's garlic cheese fingers. I don't really know how to explain it, but supposedly other places in the world don't have that. Also, what fictional character do you relate to the most and why? And I've been thinking about it, and I think the answer is Scott Pilgrim, and I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to read you a couple of Scott Pilgrim quotes, and then we'll just see how that feels. Yeah, I think garlic bread would have to be my favorite all-time food. I could eat it for every meal, or just constantly, without stopping. Amazon.ca. What's the website for that? I have to pee due to boredom. And then Matthew Patel is like, didn't you get my email explaining the situation? And Scott's like, I skimmed it. And I feel like I just relate to Scott Pilgrim on a very spiritual level. Finally, You Are the First Stream of My Soul asked me my top 5 books, TV shows, songs, and celebrities. And this was very hard because everything I like changes so much. So, I gave it a go. For books, Percy Jackson, very vague. The Kings of Cool, The Outsiders, that was Then, This Is Now, and then maybe Perks. Like the Perks of Being a Wallflower. That was I wasn't sure what I wanted to put there, but I think Perks is a good choice. TV shows would be Buffy the Vampire Slayer, American Horror Story, various Marvel cartoons. I'm not gonna... That's just a category, you know, like that Fantastic Four cartoon, X-Men Evolution, and Ultimate Spider-Man. Like, it's just one whole thing. Also sad shows starring Sebastian Stan. That is my way of putting 2 TV shows into one. It works, you know. And Teen Wolf. And for celebrities, I also had trouble with this, obviously, but I said Aaron Johnson, Chloe Grace Moretz, Emma Stone, Sebastian Stan, Chris Evans, and also, these are brackets, Taylor Kitsch the 6th. Let's just, it's fine, everyone, it's fine. Thank you so much for sending me questions, guys. It means a lot. I hope you enjoyed this lame video, and I don't know, maybe do it again sometime or something. I hope you guys are all having a good time, and thank you all for following me.